What if the most charming man on television wasn't nearly as charming when the cameras turned off? For decades, Johnny Carson ruled late-night TV as the face of The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. To millions of viewers, he was witty, relaxed, and effortlessly funny. But behind the curtain, the story was far more complicated. The jokes were polished. The smile was perfect. Yet offstage, Carson's life was tangled with conflict, broken relationships, and feuds that even his loyal fans rarely heard about. Johnny Carson wasn't just a talk show host. He was a cultural force. From 1962 to 1992, his desk became the center of American entertainment. Actors, comedians, presidents, everyone wanted that famous invitation to sit beside him. A single appearance could launch a career overnight. But fame, as you know, can hide a lot of shadows. Carson's personal life often looked turbulent. He married 4 times, and several of those relationships ended painfully. Friends described him as funny and generous one moment, distant and explosive the next. During his 1987 honeymoon with his 4th wife, Alexis Moss, witnesses later recalled a tense moment when Carson sharply warned her their marriage might not last if she embarrassed him again. It was the kind of remark that hinted at the pressure simmering beneath his public charm. Family life carried its own heartbreak. Carson had 3 sons with his first wife, Jody Wolcott. One of them, Rick Carson, struggled with mental health issues for years. Their relationship reportedly became strained, and tragedy struck on June 21, 1991. When Rick died in a car accident after his vehicle plunged down a 125-foot embankment near Morro Bay, California. Carson later paid tribute to his son on television, but people close to him believe the loss haunted him deeply. Alcohol sometimes added fuel to his darker moments. In 1982, Carson was arrested for driving under the influence while behind the wheel of a DeLorean. He received 3 years probation and was required to attend an alcohol program. Even Carson admitted in interviews that drinking could bring out a harsher side of his personality. Then there were the legendary feuds. Carson had complicated relationships with several famous names. His friendship with Joan Rivers famously collapsed after she launched her own late-night show in 1986, which aired opposite his program. Carson felt betrayed, and according to Rivers, he never spoke to her again. Another public conflict erupted with entertainer Wayne Newton after Carson mocked him repeatedly during a dispute over a Las Vegas casino deal. Even some guests tested his patience. The legendary comedian Bob Hope appeared frequently on the show, but Carson reportedly found the appearances frustrating as Hope aged and relied heavily on scripted jokes rather than spontaneous conversation. And yet, despite all the drama, Carson's influence remained enormous. He shaped the blueprint for modern late-night television. Hosts who followed, whether consciously or not, borrowed pieces of his timing, his rhythm, and his style. That's the strange paradox of Johnny Carson's life. On stage, he looked effortless, smooth, untouchable. But behind the laughter was a complicated man still wrestling with his own demons, proving that even the king of late-night comedy couldn't always escape the shadows once the spotlight faded.